Hey, what's going on? It's your boy, man, in the wild. And, man, solar fuckery persists, man. You just gotta, look back. You gotta look back and you gotta see, because there's so many lies going on in front of you, right? So many, you know, grand scheme, um, popular news type shit that really comes out and it's all bullshit. So then it takes you back to, when the racial agenda really started. You know what I mean? And shit, Rosewood ain't no fucking different. You know, it ain't no different, man. Let's check this out, man. Cause I don't really like watching these shits like this because, you know, it's gonna make people not really feel it because they not really trying to understand that shit. Niggas love to be victims per se. You know, so I don't know, man. Check this shit out, man. But just know, man, it should piss you off in a way to try to make this shit right in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Instead of shooting the messenger.
Really, the South today is really not much different than the rest of the country. But the Old South, that's another story. And what the Rosewood...
What has to be known, man, they always make the pyramid with their fucking hands when they start off with some bullshit. You know what I mean? That's just what they do. You know, there's a pattern that has to be noticed. It has to be seen. So, you know what I'm saying? The pattern didn't just start now. With the new stuff that's going on, like, nah, this shit's been in existence, man.
Massacre is all about. 60 years ago, Rosewood in
Of course, 60 years ago, right? This is when they're chronicling this. 60 years ago. Just to shout out that number 6. That's the only reason why that shit is, being shouted out like that. Because they love numerology, man.
North Florida was a thriving little community of about 200 people, almost all of them black. Early in January 1923, some 1,000 whites came to town, and when they left about a week later, Rosewood had been burned to the ground. No one knows for sure how many people were killed there. The figures might be as high as 40. For 60 years, the story of Rosewood remained secret and was only uncovered recently by Florida newspaperman Gary Moore, who is writing a book on the massacre at Rosewood.
And we gotta remember too, man, there was a movie made about this shit, right? There was a movie made about this shit. These people do not make movies based off of shit that's just normal, like everyday happenings. You know what I mean? They make movies based off of shit that they done created. Period. You know what I mean? They're the builders. They're not just the builders of physical buildings. They're the builders of your reality.
Road sign proclaiming its name, but no memorial commemorating its dead. Located 9...
And of course there's no memorial commemorating the dead because the shit didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Even if there is a memorial, you know what I mean? Because they do love to, make the fuckery extend as far as they can, right? But the fact that there is no memorial, come on, man.
Miles from the Gulf of Mexico at Cedar Key, Florida, at Rosewood. Rosewood. There's a road sign proclaiming its name, but no memorial commemorating its dead. Located 9 miles from the Gulf of Mexico.
9 miles. Whenever they can do it, they do it. They love their numbers. Number 9 is very symbolic because you flip it upside down, it's a 6. Pay attention to that shit.
At Cedar Key, Florida, Rosewood today is little more than a trailer park. You search in vain for any sign of a slaughter, for any hint of the mass murder.
Like, what's that a picture of? You understand? What's that a picture of? Really?
It took place here a long time ago. Well, what did it look like?
I'm saying, who took that picture? Right? Who took that picture? You sitting there saying you can't find this, can't find that, but you can find this picture?
It's a big blaze. You seen things on fire? A big blaze, just burning down. Just burning up the whole thing. Just burning up my grandmama's house, churches, and everything. They burn up everything.
Yo, listen to these crisis actors when they talk. You know what I mean? No attachment to the fucking moment. You know what I'm like? It's like when they're deceiving you, right? You know that's what they're doing because that's what they're doing. They're not telling you something that's genuine to them right now. They're telling you something that they was fucking told to say. You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna lie. On this one, this kind of pisses me off on the strength of you trying to make me feed into this racial shit behind this shit, right? Because this is something like a big, quote unquote black moment. And then you got these blackface niggas sitting here lying to you and shit about the whole shit. Like, come on. Come on, man.
All our clothes and everything. Yeah. They burn it up.
And all she said is they burn it up, they burn it up, they burn the hole, they burn the hole. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Really? That's all the recollection you got for that moment? That's all you can say? Nah, it's trying to play on your heartstrings to make you believe this dumb shit.
Why did they burn everything?
They was mad.
But you were just little children.
I know it. What did they care? They didn't care. They killed us. I'm like 8 years old.
Of course, 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? To shout out that number 8. That infinity sign. The number that never ends. It never stops. Has no beginning, no end. It just keeps going. They love shouting that shit out. They love shouting it out, especially in the beginning. What kind of fucking pictures is these? I don't care what year it is. You're going to give me something better than this. The fuck out of here, man.
Langley was only a child
when you coming out with pictures and shit, when you actually showing pictures, this is one of the most fucked up pictures I done seen. Fuck
became a refugee. Now, she's a great-grandmother. At her home in Jacksonville, Florida, we talked to her about the place where she was born, Rosewood, Florida, the place that haunts her memory.
I know they killed my aunt, and they killed my granddad.
Go ahead and keep looking off to the right for your words that you need to say. You understand? Keep fucking lying to the people. You know what I'm saying? Keep lying to the people, man. That shit is fucking sick to me.
Maybe my granddaddy dug his hole. He didn't have but one arm, but they made him dug his own grave.
You know what I'm saying? And what I'm starting to notice more and more, too, is, how to read that green screen shit. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers don't even be wherever they say that they're at. Because they don't have to be, man. It's fuckery. Notice how whenever they do interviews with people that's allegedly on the scene and shit, they always doing it far away from where everybody else is at. Why? Because if you get a crowd around that shit, people gonna figure it out that it's some bullshit. So whenever it's some fuckery like this, why would you travel to Florida when you can just put a fucking actor in front of a green screen and say they in Florida? Get the fuck out of here.
And he prayed, and they shot him back to the grave.
At Rosewood.
At Rosewood.
This is where it all began, in the white settlement of Sumner, just a few miles from Rosewood. Sumner disappeared in the late 1920s when a fire destroyed the sawmill. But back in 1923, Sumner was a booming little company town.
See, look, like that right there, right? That shows you that was a picture that was taken back in them days. So what the fuck was that other picture that they popped up with people's faces and shit trying to... Get the fuck out of here.
James and Fannie Taylor had a home not far from here. On the morning of January 1st, 1923, James Taylor was already at work at the sawmill when neighbors said they heard his wife Fannie screaming for help. Fannie told her neighbors that a man had entered her home and attacked her, a black man.
She opened the door, but he just knocked her down, and she was raped.
Edith Foster was 16 years old at the time. She remembered.
And of course, she was 16 to shout out that number 7. Any chance they get, anytime they get your attention, they're going to, give you some signs, symbols, and numbers. That's just what they do. And what's fucked up behind it, that is some deception behind it too, because that's what they also do. In order to dumb you down, that's just how it goes, man.
Seeing the few hundred white men of Sumner joined by others from surrounding counties, even from out of state. She remembers how they grew into a mob seeking revenge.
If he had never went in on this white lady, well, there'd never been nothing to it.
Look, they sitting there smiling about shit, man. Like it's, it really is a joke. It really is a joke. You supposed to be sitting here talking about, people, a whole bunch of people die. Now, granted, it is nothing but some of them nagras. So you're not really gonna have too much emotion behind it. But in the end, when it comes to fuckery, all these motherfuckers just laugh and smile through the whole thing. You just gotta know where the people.
It's not known for sure who attacked Fannie Taylor. Some whites say it was Sylvester Carrier, a young, strong-willed black man from Rosewood.
Motherfuckers stand like, what is that, Captain Morgan?
Some blacks say the attacker was a white man. They say it was Fannie Taylor's boyfriend. But a lot of people tend to think the attacker was a black convict who had escaped from a nearby chain gang. Whoever he was.
Of course, do your little hand signs, but we saw the movie, man. We saw the movie. The movie that was made later on after this, right? To make sure that we believe in Rosewood. Believe that shit happened, man, get the fuck out of here. And is he winking right there? Come on.
He touched off a week-long killing party.
They just, a bad crew come in here, and they just wiped it off of the map.
That night around about 9 o'clock or 8:30.
Like they wiped it off the map, though. Like they wiped it off the map because a girl got raped. That shit don't even make fucking sense, to keep it a buck.
There they come in a car.
And I don't give a fuck who did it. I don't give a fuck what the climate is. I don't give a fuck what that race, black, white, all that type of shit. The fuck out of here, man. Get all the way the fuck out of here. Just like with that Black Wall Street, man. Get the fuck out of here, please.
They kept looking for this Sylvester, but they didn't seem to find him. And then they went back up there that night and to talk to his mother.
Calling for my aunt saying, Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. And so my aunt didn't say nothing because she was scared too.
And that's when all the shooting began, you see.
They went to shooting all in the house, all upstairs in the windows.
These colored folks, they were ready for it.
Is your heartstrings pulled? You know what I'm saying? They going back and forth, with these two people, talking about something that allegedly happened. Is your heartstrings pulled by this shit? They can't be. They can't be.
I was sitting right between his legs, and he had the gun over to my right shoulder.
This was Sylvester.
Yes, I got on under him.
See, look, man, get the fuck out of here. See, look, whenever they do that shit right there, right, he just asked Sylvester, right? Because she's sitting there talking about she in between his legs. He got the gun over my shoulder like he protected me type shit. And what does he ask?
And he had the gun over to my right shoulder.
That's actually your left shoulder, but, okay.
They went to shooting all in the house, all upstairs in the windows.
Okay, so that's why she's talking like that. Okay, so the white girl talking about, all the shooting that's going on looking for this Negro. And then the black one's actually in the crib
Colored
with the
folks,
dude.
they were ready for it.
And I was sitting right between his legs. And he had the gun over to my right shoulder.
This was Sylvester.
Yes, I got on.
When they do that shit right there, they're deceiving you. They know they're deceiving you. Period. No doubts, 100%. You can't deny it. Okay? So he just asked, when all this was going down, was that the dude Sylvester you was talking about, Ving Rhames played in that movie? She gonna say, yeah, rubbing her fucking eye like she don't know what to do with what's going on, because that's just, she's doing what she's told to do. The fuck out of here.
And
Pure bullshit. You hear me?
these old white people busted door down.
You know what I'm saying? As she's the whole time. The fuck out of here.
When they busted door down, that's when he dropped them. He just dropped everyone come to the door.
He shot them?
Yeah.
Well, they killed Mr. Anders before he got to the house. They loaded him with a buckshot right here. Killed him dead. They had to leave him there.
Of course you had to put that one eye up too, man.
Mr. Anders before he got to the house. They loaded him
Of course you got to put your one eye up too, right? Fuck out of here.
with a buckshot.
Because what you got to understand, any time that they put anything up to their face by their eye, period, wiping their hair from their eye, you know what I'm saying, anything like that, they are giving you the one-eye symbol. And anytime that you get that one-eye symbol, some bullshit follows. That's just how it goes. The pattern is too clear, man.
At least 2 white men were killed that night, forcing the mob to retreat. It was then that the black women...
I'm starting to feel real more and more comfortable with the knowledge of the number 2 is for your number 11. You know what I mean? Just so they can shout that out as much as they can, man. Get the fuck out of here. That's just what they do.
Children, 12 or 13 of them, ran from the bullet-riddled carrier home and into...
And of course, you're going to hear the 13.
...night, forcing the mob to retreat. It was then that the black women and children, 12 or 13 of them...
They had 12 or 13. You know what I'm saying? 12 for your number 3 and 13 because that's what it is. You know, that's why you see them big old B's on people's hats whenever the fuckery goes down. They love that number 13.
Ran from the bullet-riddled carrier home and into the woods. Minnie Lee Langley, 8 years old at the time, ran...
You know, again, with that number 8. 8 years old. You know, they always want to shout out numbers. They always want to shout out, you know, how old somebody is or how far something is. But even though they embellish the distance just to get the numbers correct. Trust me when I say that shit.
We had a aunt with us, so Scrappy. She was just like a hen with a nest of babies. She taken us to the woods, kept us out in the woods. She kept us out in the woods almost a week.
There's swamps out there.
Well, we stayed in there. Took it like a soldier and stayed out in the woods.
You went through those swamps?
Yes, we went all out in the woods. And she built a little bit of fire.
All that blinking and shit, man. Whenever you're telling some bullshit, you always do that quick ass blinking shit. The fuck out of here.
For us to stay warm, because it was so cold at night.
In the morning, the mob returned, several hundred strong. Inside the carrier home, they found Sarah, Sylvester's mother. She was dead. They also found...
Yo, peep that pyramid in his fucking hand, man. Peep the pyramid in his hand, man. When somebody from the mainstream, you know, uses these type of hand signals and stuff like that, they know that they're not telling you the truth behind it. This is their story.
Another body, a black man. Some people say it was Sylvester, but no one really knows for sure. What we do know is what happened next. The mob set the carrier home on fire, and they watched it burn. And then that mob grew in size, it grew in anger, and it became even more violent.
You ain't never seen a mob like that.
Fred Kirkland was a teenager when he saw the mob rampaging through Rosewood.
They went wild. They was
You know, of course, fold your hands properly too. You know, yeah, that's just what y'all got to do, man. Fuck out of here, man.
1,500 people there by that time, and they're coming in from every direction. They was crazy. They give the high sheriff and the deputies 5 minutes to get out of sight.
Don't put that hand up to your face too, you know. And it's like, and what's funny is they, as you see it more and more, some people are uncomfortable doing it because they know that motherfuckers is gonna see them. You know what I mean? But in the end, they have to do that shit. They have to.
I'll come back.
They told the sheriff and the deputy to get out of town and not come back?
Get out of there. Give them 5 minutes to get out of sight.
And what did the sheriff and the deputy do?
They left there. Then they went to burning houses, killing people, and everything.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I say, the lack of emotion on one end or the other. You know what I'm saying? Because if you hate you some niggers, you're going to kind of be, you know, happy about it, whatnot. You know, with your little smile shit like this lady. You know, but he didn't have no emotion at all. You know. This should be something that'll shape your fucking life. Something that that you can't forget, that you can't, you know, let down, let go type shit. But nah. You know These motherfuckers just casually talking about a fucking massacre. Get the fuck out of here.
Morning they came through here, setting houses on fire, and as each one ran out,
Go ahead, and it's like you can tell when somebody's reading and when somebody's talking. You should be able to tell the difference between that shit.
They'd shoot them, kill them. And there's a colored woman right here, lived just across here in the woods from me, and her name was Lexi Gordon, and she was sick. She had typhoid fever. And when she told her, the ones that was staying there with her, for them to go ahead.
I'm saying, go ahead and give us a name of somebody, right? And somebody who's sick or some type of shit, so you're, you can touch on another heartstring. Because maybe you didn't get everybody yet. You know what I'm saying? But talk about a little sick baby and then, oh yeah, telling you, man, you gotta pay attention to the way that they fuck with you.
Get away if they could, well, she just take whatever come, Well, naturally, when they set the house on fire, well, she ran out towards the back. And she had a back door, Johnny, out there. And so she made for it. And they shot her before she got there.
But she had nothing to
do with it at all, whatever.
I mean, and I don't put nothing past her, man. Why is her left eye so droopy, too? And that's the eye that she pointed to whenever she said that bullshit earlier. Fuck out of here.
And, well, it was the way with a lot of them, you see. That's the reason it was such a situation that we just couldn't understand. It was just a mad bunch of men come in here.
What do you think they got out of it? Why did they do it?
Motive, I guess. Satisfaction is all I can figure it out. I don't know what it was.
What the fuck you mean you don't know what it was? If you a teenager living there at the time, you know exactly what motherfuckers be talking about. You hear, what people say, what they thoughts is type shit. You have family members that was probably involved in this shit. What the fuck you mean you don't know what the motive is? You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to fuckery, there's so much confusion, right? They present just enough to where the story is plausible, but then they, but then they present bullshit behind that, just to make it, mysterious enough to where, you'll believe that shit. That black magic shit, get the fuck out of here.
Satisfaction.
I reckon that was it.
Well, the whole place was in smoke.
Man, is this the same picture? It's probably the same picture, right?
And they said they had destroyed all the buildings.
Yeah.
And said that there would be no more to live here, they couldn't let come back.
Dumbass photo again. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. Trying to make it look like the chick that was talking earlier, man. Get the fuck out of here.
Miss Langley, would you go back to Rosewood with us?
I would go if y'all don't let them bother me or nothing like that. I don't want to go there and get hurt or nothing.
Go there and get hurt. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Come on. With a smile on your face when you say this shit. Like you have no fear going on with your whole...
I would go if y'all don't let them bother me or nothing like that. I don't want to go there and get hurt or nothing.
You know what I'm saying? What you laughing for, though? What you laughing for? If that shit was so fucking horrendous that you experienced that shit and you ain't been back, you ain't seen it and blah, blah, blah. How the fuck can you chuckle about going back? Don't want to get hurt. Ha, ha, ha. Fucking laughing at you.
Yeah.
You remember?
Hello, darling.
We brought...
Of course, you got the black and white on for your Freemasonry. They not gonna miss with you.
Lee Langley back to Rosewood for the first time in 60 years. We also asked Lee Ruth Davis, Leroy Carrier, and Sam Hall.
You know what I'm saying? With your diamond hat on for your 33 in numerology. They love this shit, man. They love it. Survivors
of Rosewood to come back for a day.
She got that plaid skirt on, that plaid dress on. Fuck out of here, man. They don't miss when it comes to making sure that they signs and symbols is present.
Hello, Simon.
Hey. You remember her, Mr. Holmes?
Yeah. Boy, she looked pissed out there. Just off of this Morrissey.
Yeah. Oh, Lord, yeah. This is...
Trying to act like this is a motherfucking reunion. Huh? It's the same shit that they do today. Same shit they do today as far as the damn reality shows and all the other dumb shit, man. Get the fuck out of here.
Marcy. Was that what they used to call you?
That's what they call me, Marcy.
You look just like Miss Virginia.
Yeah, my mother.
Yeah.
I'm bringing back memories that I wished I could get rid of. You know what I mean? This has been a hard. If you just had been here to listen to all this and
You know what I'm saying? Of course, they're going to have that chain, that diamond
see
chain.
some of it, then you would have known just what it was. We lost everything. Lost everything.
You own the land.
Yeah, we own our land, all of them.
And no one ever paid you any money for this land.
No,
Just lost it.
took it.
What do you say to children today? Children like this boy, like your great-grandson, and people who didn't grow up when you grew up, and people who didn't go through what you went through.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us what the fuck you got to say. I really want to hear this shit. I'm waiting. Trust me.
People who would say, this couldn't have happened in this country. Come on.
I would tell them like this. I said, don't never stay in a place that white folks can surround it. Don't never stay in a place that white folks can surround it.
What the fuck? Like, don't stay in a place where white folks can surround you. Like, that type of advice don't even really make sense all the way like that, just on the strength of, like, shit, everybody's everywhere. So what the fuck are you even talking about?
If anything happens some ways else, they'll run you out from your home just like they did us.
You know what I'm saying? So basically what they're making sure that they pump and push is that racial agenda that's been pumped and pushed. You understand? But my thing is this. Yeah, it's existing. Yeah, racism, it lives. My thing is this. Know the real roots of shit. Then make sure that you're mad about the right shit. That's what it boils down to for me, man.
Not many whites lived in Rosewood at that time, really just...
Because this shit right here is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Period. This shit is bullshit. So now anything that gets said behind this bullshit has to be some more bullshit. Period.
Just a handful. Among the few who did live here was a man by the name of John Wright who owned the general store. John Wright lived in this house. It's one of the few that has survived. To blacks in Rosewood, John Wright was a hero. He opened his home.
And I'm going to let it be known, too, of course, the house with pillars, with them firm pillars like that would be the house that they show you from Rosewood. Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here. Please.
To many of the women and children who were hiding from that mob. And John Wright did even more. He was able to get a message to the railroad that said, the town is on fire, send a train. And that's how many blacks escaped from Rosewood, by train. Who was on the train? You were on the train?
I was on the train. I'll never forget it. It was night when the train come there. It was 4 o'clock. When we left Mr.
4
Wright.
o'clock in the morning?
That's right. And he told them, conductor, to pull the train on and stop anywhere on the road that he saw women and children, but not men, because they didn't know who the men would be.
If it hadn't been...
Not the men, because they don't know who the man would be. That don't even make sense right there. So you mean to tell me that the black men that got, that need help to get up out of there, fuck them? We just gonna take the women and children? Fuck out of here.
For this house.
We wouldn't have been here, because we wouldn't have had nowhere to hide.
Rosewood. You won't find an accurate account of it in any history book. Yet, about 40 people were killed here one terrifying week 60 years ago. When you think about it, far greater atrocities have happened elsewhere in the world. But Rosewood belongs to America. It's a real American horror story.
Yo, he just said this shit belongs to America. It's a real American horror story, man. Did you hear that shit?
60 years ago. When you think about it, far greater atrocities have happened elsewhere in the world. But Rosewood belongs to America. It's a real American horror story. The wonder is that it stayed secret so long. Minnie Lee
Because it's bullshit.
Langley never even told her family.
I didn't want them to know that I was scouting through the woods to stay out there all night long.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Why wouldn't you want to tell your family something like this that done happened to where you're giving advice to say don't let white people surround you? Get the fuck out of here. That'd be one of the first things that you tell your damn family. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that they're safe, that they don't have to go through no fucking swamp and no woods. Get the fuck out of here, man. This is pissing me off, man.
Out there in that cold and all that stuff.
Showing us a damn Baphomet, man. That's all that this shot is for.
Run for your life?
Trying to save my life. I didn't
You know
want
what I'm saying? Telling this emotional ass, dumbass fucking story with a Baphomet sign up. You know what? I'm done, man. This bullshit's confirmed.